everybody. Good Erev Shabbos. You are listening to Table for Two with Naomi Nachman on the Nachum Network. Our show is sponsored by Abels and Hyman. We taste better. Welcome to Thanksgiving weekend. Wow, I'm sure everyone's had a delicious time this weekend. Either they've had turkey or going to have a fabulous Shabbos meal coming up tonight. And last night we had some deep fried turkey. So everyone's busy with all their festivities of coming up for Shabbat or whatever they had going on the weekend, whether you eat turkey on Thanksgiving or not. But it's been a great, Thanksgiving's always a milestone for me because I came to America exactly today. I think today's the 28th. So I came to America on the 28th of November in 1991. So I guess that makes it 23 years American that I am. So, and then I met my husband exactly a year later on Thanksgiving. So I'm always thanksgiving to Hashem that I came to America, and I've had a great Jewish life over here. Not that, where I was from wasn't great, but it's wonderful here and lots of restaurants for me to eat at. And so just, another thank you to Hashem and thank you, for Thanksgiving weekend to Hashem for my new home in America, different home than, got Israel to look forward to one of these days, make an aliyah, and go eating my way through Israel is my dream, and living in the land. So I look forward to one day thanking Hashem for my aliyah, which I will make in the future. But today is all about Thanksgiving, and we're going to have a great show. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Naomi Nachman, and I'm about all the food all the time. I love food. I love shopping for it, cooking, eating at restaurants. Anytime you don't feel like cooking, give me a call. I'll cook it for you. I'll even deep fry a turkey for you. In fact, last week at AHC Appliances out in Cedarhurst, I deep fried a turkey. You can watch some of the clips that I did on my Facebook page. You can join my Facebook page, The Aussie Gourmet. It got over 1,000 fans now. Yay, I'm very excited. Or you can friend me on Naomi Nachman, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram. What else am I leaving out? Or join my newsletter at theaussiegourmet.com, and I have great recipes. But I want to hear about your cooking adventures and your exciting things that are happening with food in your life. So you can email me, naomi@nachumsegal.com, and we'd love to hear from you. A couple of announcements. We have winners. I'm announcing from two of the giveaways we've had the past month. We had a giveaway from CKCA. All you had to do to be in the drawing for the raffle for that was join one of the CKCA kosher media. The CKCA, it's the kosher cooking school out there in Brooklyn. You had to join one of their social media platforms, and then you would be eligible to be entered into our giveaway. So Leah Blumenthal, you are a winner. You won a free cooking class at CKCA. So email me at naomi@nachumsegal.com, and I'll send you the details. And we had another giveaway, Leah Shapira and Victoria Dweck's amazing restaurant cookbook, and the winner for that is drum roll. We should have planned a drum roll, ZK's got a drum roll. Let's have a drum roll for Leah Shapira's amazing book. Okay, do we find it? Okay, ZK's going to give me a drum roll. The winner is Suri Brody. Oh, I like that. Can we do that again? Yeah, Suri Brody. Great, thanks, ZK. That was a bit of a thrill on this Friday morning. Thank you very much for that. So congratulations to all the winners there, and we're going to have lots more giveaways in the next couple of months, including hopefully some for Hanukkah, which is coming up very soon. I have a great show for us today. We're going to do a bit of a flashback Friday. I don't know if some of you remember, but I had the opportunity to go to Alaska to be a kosher caterer. I was invited by my friend Michelle Conrad to be flown out to cater her daughter's bat mitzvah. And I had the privilege of working with the Rebbetzin Greenberger out in Alaska in Anchorage at the amazing Chabad Center. And Michelle put me up with her neighbor, Sarah and Michael Bram, who became very fast friends with us. They had 4 little girls. I've got 4 big girls. So that was like, we reminded of each other of what the future for them would be like, in the past what was like for me having 4 little girls at once. So we had a great time, and it just happens to be that we had tons of mutual friends in common, and we really hit it off. But the coolest part about my trip to Alaska was actually Michael Bram. Michael Bram is stationed, Sarah and Michael are stationed in Alaska because he's a chaplain in the US Air Force. So I said, how can I turn this down? An opportunity. Now, remember, I did this interview before Rosh Hashanah. So Michael's got the, we did an interview with them of Michael and Sarah Bram at their apartment on Motzei Shabbos about a week before Rosh Hashanah, and what it's like to be from and kosher in the US Air Force. So let's play that interview, ZK. This part of the interview is not going to be on the YouTube part, but it's of this edition. But you can listen to it on nachumsegal.com or on the podcast or on your iPhone on the go. So let's play that. That was Captain Michael Bram out in Anchorage, Alaska. As you heard, he mentioned kosher troops, and I just happened to have on the phone with me Sarah. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Sarah. First from Kosher Troops, all the way in Muncie, correct?
Yes.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you for joining me. We actually met last week at Kosher Fest, where I saw a lot of the booths had the Kosher Troops logo on it, and I thought that was great that a lot of the companies out there are supporting Kosher Troops. Tell me what Kosher Troops is.
Kosher Troops is a nonprofit organization, and we send care packages to the Jewish American troops that are deployed all over the world and the ones that are stateside.
Fantastic. And how did you get this idea together? So, what a beautiful mitzvah.
Actually, that's how it started, as a chesed, as a mitzvah project for my daughter's bat mitzvah almost 7 years ago. And it just basically, once we did it for Purim, we did it the next following Yom Tov, which was Pesach, and then we went to the next one, Shavuos, and it just kept on going on and on. And then Ava Hamburger joined us, and she was pushing for it. Let's make it into a real thing. So we made it into a nonprofit. And, once it becomes a nonprofit, it becomes more official and more people are into donating and helping us out.
That's absolutely fantastic. So how do people find out about you if they want to make these donations? Like people like our listeners, if they want to donate, how would they find you? And they should also mention your beautiful YouTube movie that you have.
Yeah, so we do have a website. It's koshertroops.com. We do also have a lot of following on Facebook. We have a Facebook page, and that's a lot more updated whenever, each time we do something. For example, all the Kosher Fest pictures are there, and the more of the updating stuff that we do on a more present time. We are planning to send Hanukkah packages this weekend. We're packing for that.
Oh, very nice. And who's helping you pack?
Well, we always have volunteers, so we have volunteers that come and help us pack.
And people can find you to volunteer. People can find.
Well, we have a set group of volunteers that always comes, and
nice.
We're always welcome to have more volunteers. And yes, that's how we do it. Everything that we do is on a volunteer basis. Nobody makes any salaries, so whatever money that gets donated goes
straight to the troops.
I would say more than 100% towards
Beautiful.
The cause.
What kind of companies are donating their product?
So we do have Manichevis, Kedem, Osem, Stripes. We have the Challah Ferry gives us challahs every week.
Beautiful.
We have Abels and Heyman is always helping us out.
Yay,
with the
Abels and Heyman.
Joburg.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. So if people want to get involved by volunteering or by donating some money, or if you have a product you want to donate, these soldiers are all the way there in the stateside, or there could be in Afghanistan, correct?
Correct, absolutely. We actually started off with only the deployed ones.
Right.
So we send everywhere, like places like Afghanistan, Kuwait, Qatar, Korea, Germany, England, Micronesia.
Amazing.
We have quite a few crazy places that we send to.
It's such an incredible thing that you're doing, and I hadn't heard of you until I had met Captain Bram. So it's really a beautiful thing that you're doing. Thank you so much for joining me. When I saw you guys at Kosher Fest, I went over, I found you guys, I tracked you down. I said, I got to have you on the show, and maybe we'll be able to have a little bit of our own show together. Maybe we'll bring our packing team down and help you guys pack with some volunteers. It's such an amazing program that you do.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity.
No problem. We just want to wish all our soldiers in America protecting the American borders, and the troops in Israel protecting the Israeli borders. We're thinking of you and davening for your safety every single day.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Sarah, for joining me this morning.
Thank you.
All
Have a
right,
great
take
day.
care.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye-bye. That was Sarah first for a very quick interview for Kosher Troops. I just thought I would tie that in to our Thanksgiving show because we are really Thanksgiving to Hashem for everything that we've got here in this country and around the world and our good health, hopefully, we all have. But, definitely, for our troops here or abroad in Israel, I've got to keep saying Israel because we're thinking of you every day, and davening for us all, keeping us all safe. So, finding my last guest today, I just couldn't have a show without Orly. Orly and I had first started emailing each other a little bit before Kosher Fest, like a good couple of weeks ago already at this point. And Orly has a product that I couldn't believe when I heard about it, when I saw it. And she was actually one of the winners at Kosher Fest, and we'll talk about that. Orly has blends by Orly. Her name is Orly Gottesman, but she's otherwise known as Blends by Orly, and she has a product. Remember last week or 2 weeks ago at Kosher Fest, was talking about how much gluten-free stuff there was. So I kind of just had to, give her my thanks. We're talking about thanking people for bringing this to us. Now, a little secret: Orly's Australian, but she's also American. She's kind of like bi-coastal. Is that how we would call it?
Yeah, my husband runs a business in Sydney, and I'm running a business here, so sort of go back and forth.
Doesn't she sound Australian? I don't sound American.
No worries, mate.
Yeah, it's funny when we were talking a few minutes ago. We're like, ZK was about to turn on the those of you who are watching our interview on the YouTube Nachum Siegel channel. I'm like, before we start recording, we're like, does the shade look okay? And she's fixing herself all up, and she says, how's my fringe? And I'm like, nobody says fringe in America. And I said, I don't say, what do they call it?
Bangs.
Bangs.
Yeah.
And in Australia, you say fringe.
Yeah,
So
I went to get my bangs trimmed in Australia, and I said to them, can I get my bangs trimmed? They said, your what? I said, right here, pointed to my forehead. And they said, oh, your fringe.
Right.
So since then, called a fringe. Yeah, can't help it.
It's your colloquialisms, but I still say tomato.
Yeah. Tomato.
Tomato.
Yeah.
As I said, I'm here with now 23 years.
And tomato sauce in Australia is ketchup.
Yeah.
It's not what we call tomato sauce.
Yeah,
here.
right.
Tomato sauce here.
So how did you start this business? Why gluten-free products? You could have done a regular flour blend.
Yeah, well, my initial inspiration comes from my husband, Josh, who's over in Sydney now.
It's about 40 degrees Celsius there, like 100 degrees right now. We're freezing out.
It's summer there. So Josh and I started dating. We met in NYU. We were both in the Jewish a cappella group. And
so cute.
So we sing at weddings too.
This is JM and the AM, You can sing.
Oh, yeah. Next show.
Yeah, right?
And so Josh grew up in a family of restaurant owners. He's the biggest foodie I've ever met, like really eats to live, lives to eat.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah? Okay, you should bring him on.
Lives to eat.
Bring him on next.
Oh, yeah, you get along with him. And so about 8 years ago, he got diagnosed with celiac disease, which was very traumatic for him. At the time, very few people were being diagnosed. There were very few items available on the market. And shortly after we got married, we moved to Paris. He launched a business there.
Very nice.
And, Paris is great for someone like me who can eat all the gluten I want and, go to all the different patisseries and try everything. But for him, we would tell our servers that he couldn't eat wheat, and they would look at us like we were crazy. They didn't know what gluten meant. They had no idea.
Right. Very into their croissant.
Very into their bread, their pain. And just for those of you who don't know what gluten is, let me just go ahead and explain that.
Yeah, please explain that, because I talk about gluten-free and I don't think I know what it means. There's something in the wheat.
Yeah, something not good for you. No, so gluten is a protein that's found in wheat, barley, rye, and spelt, which is a wheat derivative. And it's the protein that a lot of people today are not able to digest correctly for different reasons, being celiac disease, which is autoimmune disease, gluten allergies, and different sorts of gluten intolerances.
And sensitivities, right?
And sensitivities.
So you don't have to be diagnosed with something. If you just maybe have a bellyache,
Yeah,
It could be just the-
it could be a bellyache, it could be bloating, it could be, your bathroom, your typical GI problems, as well as for a lot of people, gluten is an inflammatory, the way sugar is an inflammatory. So sometimes people stop eating gluten and their migraines go away, their arthritis gets better. And, it's anything that's sort of inflamed. If you go on a gluten-free diet, there are people that are just feeling a lot better on it. So like you said, they don't have to be diagnosed with a disease or with an allergy. Some people are just doing it because they really, truly feel healthier. They feel less brain fog, like they could think more clearly. I mean, I met someone couple months ago who buys my blends, and she said she used to be 300 pounds, depressed, suicidal. She went gluten-free and she looks really thin and she's so happy. So, I wouldn't say everyone should be gluten-free, but there are a lot of people that need it. So back to the story.
Yeah.
I come from a background in human resources, and when we moved to Paris, I could not work. I didn't have a working visa. I didn't speak French, so I started taking French baking classes.
So many people I know do that.
Yeah, it's like the thing to do, like Julia Child.
Paula Scheuer.
Oh,
yeah, she was
I met
on our
her
show
last week.
Isn't she fantastic?
Yeah, she's so great.
I can't wait
She's
till
so
her
sweet.
Pesach book comes out. But she also went to Europe for a working thing with her husband. She couldn't get a job, so she went to patisserie school.
So funny. I didn't know that part of the story.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have something to bond over.
Yeah.
So for about a year and a half, I apprenticed under this French pastry chef, and I'm someone that always loved eating dessert, but I never cooked, I never baked. It just wasn't my thing, and fell in love with French baking. And then a year and a half later, we moved to Sydney, where it's again for Josh's business, and I attended the Cordon Bleu Culinary School there. And
I didn't know we had that there in Sydney.
Oh yeah, it's one of the biggest Cordon Bleu campuses in the world.
Where is it?
It's in Ryde.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, all the way up in Ryde.
Okay.
Yeah. So
You probably know where that is better than I do these days.
yeah, well,
North Shore. I think that's the North Shore, right?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't know.
All the Aussies are going to kill me that I forgot. All right.
I don't know exactly where it is. I just know I took a really long bus to get there.
Okay, yeah. Where did you live in Sydney?
We started off in the CBD before we knew we were going to stay. Then we moved to Bondi Junction.
Oh, nice.
And now we're moving. We just signed a lease on an apartment in Bondi Beach.
Oh, I'm from Bondi.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Lucky you. Okay,
Yeah.
back to the story.
So I was the only student in the program interested in gluten-free, again, because of Josh, my husband. So I launched an independent study with the head chef of the program, Chef Andre Sanderson. Big shout out to him. On gluten-free French pastry, French product development. And I was given a test kitchen 3 mornings a week. I was given products by the chef to create gluten-free. And basically during that term, I just played with every gluten-free grain that you can think of, taught myself a tremendous amount, did just like tons and tons of trial and error. And that's really where I started creating Blends by Orly, what is today Blends by Orly, because realized that you cannot use the same mix of gluten-free grains, the same combination of gluten-free flour in a cake and in a pizza crust and in a bread and not compromise the taste and texture of one or the other. So I found those gluten-free grains that really complement different categories of baked goods and combine them in the appropriate proportions so that, when you're trying to make a pizza crust and you use Tuscany blend.
Yeah, I'm holding that in my hands. I'm just reading the back.
Yeah, so you can read the ingredients in Tuscany blends on the bottom of the nutritional facts. It's got...
Yeah, you read it.
It's got white rice flour, sorghum flour, soy flour, potato starch, and tapioca starch.
It's almost Pesach.
Yeah, that one, except for the soy flour. But
if you're Sephardic.
If you're Sephardic, exactly. And Paris blend, for example, has coconut flour, brown rice flour, quinoa flour.
So you just played with these different things. You're like, I'll take a quarter of a cup of this and a half a cup of that. No, that didn't work. Back to the drawing board again?
Yes. And
good for you.
Started during that independent study. Actually, my work was published at the Cordon Bleu.
Go girl. Nice.
It was really exciting and gave me a springboard into really, I would host tasting parties at my house, tell gluten-free and not gluten-free people to come over and make a dessert party with all gluten-free and have people give feedback, and did a lot of market research and saw, there's a ton of gluten-free mixes, baking mixes in the
Right.
market, and all-purpose flours that are like cup for everything. But there's nothing that's a specific, unique blend that's used for a particular baking category. And it's something that, really a gluten-free person has it and they feel like they're eating something normal. And when you use it, it's the same texture and consistency as a regular dough. And it can make, depending on the blend that you choose, really makes the same sort of taste and texture as the regular version. And so people are just loving it because they can use it when they're cooking for the holidays and they have one gluten-free person coming over and they can use their own recipe and just replace it one-to-one. So that's really been my mission. It's beyond just Josh, and now it's just for the whole gluten-free community, and allowing people to feel normal and to eat something that tastes delicious and doesn't feel gluten-free, quote unquote.
I can't get over this. I wanted to try going gluten-free. I bought some cookbooks, and there are some amazing ones out there. I have something from Vicky Pearl. She has an amazing gluten-free cookbook, and I make her oat challah and her chocolate chip cookies with almond flour. Delicious. But it's just, it's hard. It's different. It's an adjustment. And when there's one member in the family who's gluten-free, that means you're making now a whole separate, dinner for them. And now with this kind of thing, you don't have to worry about that. You can just make the same thing for everybody.
Right. You don't have to get a special gluten-free cookbook. Just use any of your own recipes and use Blends by Orly instead of the wheat flour in the recipe.
Nice. Okay, so we spoke about two of the blends. What else you've got here? For those of you who are watching and listening, we've got a whole bunch. We've got about 5 different blends up here. Orly spoke about the Tuscany blend. What's this one here? London something?
London blend.
I can't see that. They're all on an angle from me. So what's this good for?
So London blend is perfect for all types of cookies. So that would include, sugar cookies, blondies, snickerdoodles, pretty much any type of cookie you would make, you can use London blend. This is what I was sampling when we were at Kosher Fest last week.
Yeah.
I was sampling my gluten-free oatmeal raisin chocolate chip cookies.
Mm-hmm.
Those are a real hit. You can get the recipe on my website too.
Which is?
Blendsbyorly.com.
Shout out to that. Go check it out.
Go check it out. So that's London blend. And next we have...
Yeah. Just a quick question.
Yeah.
I'm going to... So if you want to make, say, any bread or pizza crust, you use the Tuscany. You want to make a cookie, you use the London bread. Right?
Yes.
You don't have to follow. This is not like buying a Duncan Hines cake mix where you're only getting a vanilla pudding,
right,
a vanilla cake,
right,
or an angel cake or brownies.
Right.
You can use these for any one of your recipes. She does have there's a really cute picture of her on the back. I don't know if you can see that there. There's a picture of Orly on the back. But this one, the Tuscany one's great for pizza, and it actually has a pizza recipe.
Yeah, and the back of each bag gives you other suggestions for what you can use it for, and my website has a complete list of sort of anything you can think of and what blend you would use for it.
Okay, so what's the orange one? It says Sydney.
This is our favorite one.
Okay, yay, Sydney.
This is the Sydney blend, and Sydney blend is perfect for brownies, muffins, pies, quick breads, quiche crusts. You can also use this in cooking, so you can use it for breading chicken and fish. You can use it as a filler in like a potato kugel or something like that. Crumb toppings. So, and again, the reason that I named these blends, these are all named after different places that I've either lived or spent a lot of time in, and what it makes is inspired by the sort of local cuisine of that culture. So Sydney, it's a very cafe culture, as you know.
Yes, Sydney's all about the coffee shops. The world's best coffee is from Sydney.
The world's best coffee is from Sydney.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you for acknowledging that, because people think I'm crazy.
No.
Starbucks did not quite make it there. They've all closed down.
There's like one Starbucks
in
left.
by Circular Quay, right?
Yes. That's
in
the one.
Darling Harbour.
Yeah,
because
exactly,
they've
by
closed down
Circular
everyone
Quay.
else. Nobody wants.
Yeah.
They want good coffee.
No, to be honest, when I came back here from Sydney, I stopped. I could not drink Starbucks anymore.
Right.
I'm like, I became a coffee snob.
Yeah, a Sydney coffee snob. Whoa, way to go. High five. Okay. What's in the pink one?
So the pink one is Paris Blend, and this
Ooh.
is perfect for cakes and cupcakes of all kinds.
That kind of makes sense because Paris is all about the...
Yeah, and also when I worked for the patisserie in Paris, I developed a French line of American cupcakes for her. She
Oh.
wanted to do something sort of American influenced, so that reminded me of this. And
Very cute.
just to give you an example, this one has coconut flour in it, so coconut flour has sort of a rich, sweet aftertaste, and that's why it's perfect for cakes, is because cakes are supposed to be, so there's no added sugar in here, but coconut flour just naturally has a sweetness to it, so it complements cakes perfectly. Actually, this used to have almond meal in it, but I decided to make all my blends nut-free as well, because there were just too many people that
Had
couldn't
nut
eat-
allergies.
Yeah.
I know. Whenever you have someone for lunch on Shabbat
Yeah.
with a family, like, who's got an allergy? Because
Yeah.
there's always someone.
Always,
Yeah.
always someone.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
Because when I first started teaching 20-something years ago, right here on the Lower East Side, I taught at the Yeshiva MTJ. And I remember you didn't let have kids have peanut butter because you're worried that on the chunky peanut butter they would choke. Nobody thought they would die of anaphylactic shock. It was a whole
Yeah.
different
Different
ball game.
ballgame.
And that was 20-something years later. It's nuts and seeds. It's
Yeah, we have to cater to the current, set of allergies that we have for whatever reason. So there are more and more allergen-friendly products exploding on the market today.
Kosher Fest was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was. It really was unbelievable.
Oh, we have the Manhattan blend.
The last one is Manhattan Blend, and this is what I use for challah, brioche, pastries, all sorts of yeast doughs. So while the Tuscany blend is more for white breads, like focaccia and burger buns and flatbread and pizza crust, this one is more for things like brioche and challah and yeast types of breads. And we have a great challah recipe on the website.
Okay, so this is, I actually washed before the show started when Orly bought these breads out. So what is this?
That's a gluten-free challah brioche roll.
Okay, I'm
So
just gonna tear this apart so
Yeah.
everyone can see. I washed before so I could eat. Look how moist that is. Are we getting a zoom up? Let's zoom up. Look how soft that is. When did you bake this?
I baked that yesterday.
Yesterday. And look, it's still moist. You'd think without all the gluten and without the preservatives it would not be good. So I'm going to just have a little nibble when
Yeah.
you talk about where I can find this recipe.
Yeah, well, the recipe is on my website, again, blendsbyorly.com.
This is so good. And there's some Vegemite.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's shutting off the show now.
I'm shutting off now.
She can't.
I'm not that Aussie.
Yeah, you're not that Aussie. You have to be born in Australia and raised on it.
I'm
Okay.
still a peanut butter girl.
No, Vegemite all the way. Okay, this is delicious.
Actually, the secret is I always recommend when using Manhattan Blend and Tuscany Blend with your own recipes, I always recommend adding 25% more water than your recipe calls for, because gluten-free breads, like you said, dry out so quickly. So if you add 25% to 30% is sort of the magic proportion. With your own recipe, 25% more water, and you get that added moisture and that better texture that you're eating right
You're
now.
a scientist and a mathematician. That's all I can say. What else have you got here? We got about a minute left.
Oh, quickly.
I know, doesn't it go fast?
Goes so fast when you're having fun.
It's crazy.
So these are chocolate chip cookies.
Sorry, it's crankling.
Ooh, yeah, and those are made with London Blend. This recipe is actually on the back of the London Blend bag. It's gluten-free chocolate chip cookies. You can add pecans to it if you don't have a nut allergy. And then makes it
Okay.
delicious.
This looks great. Okay, ZK, you're going to have one with me. I'm going to get... There you go. All right, we're going
Bon
to have a
appetit.
cookie. Okay, that sounds so French. Grubs up, mate.
Oh, and I brought you a treat.
What? Tim Tams?
Because you asked me if they were still kosher.
Right,
So-
because I heard they were losing the hashgacha.
But they're still kosher now.
Oh,
I don't know
thank
if they're
you so
going
much.
to.
Okay, I need a distributor. Bring in Tim Tams into Australia. Awesome cookies, but they do have gluten. I do love them very much. But I think these are just rocking. I love these. These
Thank
are
you.
Crunchy, crispy. I'm a big chocolate chip girl, and I like crispy, hard chocolate chips.
You can also bake them for a minute less, and then they're chewy and soft. So
Okay, there you go.
it depends on your liking.
Okay, great.
We're out of time.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
How fast a show can go like
I
that. I know
know.
we have so much to say. And, you know, when Ollie approached me just real quick, I said, yeah, I'm booked all the way through December, and I kind of moved things around to make sure that we have her on the show while she was here in United States before she goes back. Give my love
Yeah.
to my mum in Sydney. I'll give her your number.
I will.
You'll give her a call.
Thank you,
Everyone,
Naomi.
thank you so much for joining me today. This is Table for Two on the Nachum Siegel Network. Also heard on Arutz Sheva English Radio. Our show is sponsored by Abels and Hyman. We taste better. Stay listening for music right up until Lech Benching. Shabbat Shalom. Happy Thanksgiving.